Welcome. Don't adjust your dial. Welcome everyone to the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pickering. That's right. Lo-fi as in low fidelity, low quality, in your face, messy as can be, global news show. Here we're going to talk about that famous question, what's going on in the world today? And it's Thursday, and time for that lo-fi global news, fresh off that press. And coming at us from the international section of the AP, Mexico says no more U.S. trials for corrupt officials. Weeks ago, we reported how the former Defense Secretary of Mexico was arrested in the U.S. on drug trafficking charges. Now it appears he's being sent back to Mexico for trial. A new agreement between the two countries states that those individuals from Mexico that are arrested in the U.S. will be extradited back to Mexico for trial. However, the U.S. has not commented on if this agreement is larger in scope or if it's just the current situation with the former defense secretary. This one we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But international extraditions are an interesting thing to behold for sure. Next up, source, the AP International again. Germany marks 75th anniversary of landmark Nuremberg trials. This is big. Let's break it down. Firstly, the Nuremberg trials were the trials of Nazi officials and military officers for the part they played in the Holocaust, the mass genocide that took place during World War II. These trials invented the idea of international law as we know them today. They created the charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity that had never existed before on an international scene. This was the precedent by which people are judged today for such crimes. It all started 75 years ago. And where have we come since in 75 years? Has humanity learned from these events of the past? Has the international community stopped such horrible acts from taking place again today? Has our history informed our present? Write in, Lo-Fi Nation. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Now, moving forward because we never move on from anything. Source, the world of Reuters. EU to impose more Belarus sanctions, including on firms. That's right, the European Union is expanding sanctions on Belarus, which at the moment include over 50 people that have had their assets frozen and travel bans placed on them. This list will increase in size, but a new addition is the sanctioning of companies from Belarus. We don't have details yet on which companies this will be. The EU has to come up with that list. But these will likely be major companies in the Belarus economy, and these sanctions will probably stop EU citizens and corporations from doing business with them. And another question to you, Lo-Fi listeners out there. Will the increasing of sanctions and pressure from the European Union stop Belarus's President Lukashenko from being a repressive dictator? Write in again, I want to hear from you. And our following story comes from Reuters again. Mother of 5 steers new course as Gaza's first woman taxi driver. This is simply fantastic. Yesterday we discussed women's first football league in Saudi Arabia. Today, Gaza's first woman taxi driver. Read her story, listeners, how this wonderful woman is providing a much-needed service to an all-female clientele, regardless of what anyone says or thinks about it. Well wishes and much success to you. And a last piece of news to send you on your way for the day. Source, the BBC, UK section. Sterling pupils' penguin project pays off after new colony discovered. This is a fantastic piece of news as well, especially if you know my affinity for all things penguin and Antarctica. These high school students were able to locate 11 new penguin colonies in Antarctica, increasing the number of known colonies by almost 20%. Simply marvelous. Give us more positive news about more penguins being alive every day of the week, and you'll always see me smiling. Keep up the great work, pupils. Penguins and people need you everywhere. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode of Lo-Fi Global News. Always remember that Lo-Fi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Write in with questions or comments to lofipolisci@planetmail.com. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Wash those hands. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Lo-Fi Poli Sci podcast. Pickering, signing off.